Hi everyone, this is Susan again, and welcome to the update for my multimedia project. What you're looking at right now is just the beginning stages, kind of a map to myself to know where I'm at, what I still need to do, kind of help me to track my progress. So, as you can see, my first activity that I want to do is an introduction to multimodality. Since my MMP is going to be a professional development plan for English teachers in the department of my school, I want to have something that really gets them excited and interested in what I'm doing. So I started to think about what they knew about multimodality and what they might not know about multimodality. Of course, I would start with the needs assessment to gauge exactly what information they know, but I know a lot of them offhand aren't familiar with this term, multimodal. So I thought that I would start with a PowerPoint that I will use to make a screencast. I'll use Screencast-O-Matic to make a video to explain what multimodality is to my colleagues and to mention some of the tools that they can try out and will try out through my PD plan. The technology I'm going to use for this is PowerPoint and Screencast-O-Matic, and I'm going to actually post it on my blog. And I have started the PowerPoint or the presentation through Google, but it's still in the beginning stages. So if you look over here, you can see it's obviously I have a note down to myself that I need a better title. Then I'm going to start thinking about what is multimodality. I want to check my literature for a quoted definition. What is a digital native? This comes from an article that's really driving what I'm doing. So I have to look for a quote from Prensky to define this term and relate it to how our students learn today. Then what is a multimodal tool? Something that can be used in the classroom by teachers to benefit all learners. And I want to continue with the definition and some samples. I will tell you that I have been going back and forth about the design. I find that Google Presentations, while it is a great tool to access, actually has a lot of limitations. I'm not thrilled with a lot of their themes, and I keep switching back and forth between a bunch of different ones. I'm drawn to the brighter, more exciting themes, but I remember like going through the rules from this class. I want it to be clean, I want it to be engaging, but I also want it to be easy to read. I'm not a big fan of the red color and would appreciate any information that you can share on how I can change some of these. I also have a note to myself that I want to add in some pictures of the different tools and students using the different tools in order to make some of the slides more interesting. The next thing that I am working on is the next tool is blogging. I'll be using my blog post to post articles and information for my colleagues, as well as a place for them to be able to chat and ask one another questions so we don't always have to meet in person. I'll also share some of the things that my students are doing with their blogs now to show my colleagues how blogs can work in their classroom. So I'm going to use the technology that I'm using as Blogger through Google. I already have student blogs that are already established that I can share and have parental permission to share, and then I set up my blog even though it's not complete. So I'll show you my blog, Professional Development of Multimodality. This blog will be used as a forum for teachers in my department to be able to communicate with one another about things that we will be trying out during our year-long PD meetings. And then I have a welcome message. Welcome colleagues, thank you for agreeing to join me on this journey through learning about how we can learn to engage our students by using multimodal tools in our classroom. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, you can obviously read it for yourselves, but I just basically have an introduction to them, and then I have a link to the first article that I want them to read and respond to. I even put some like a question for them to guide their first post to get them used to blogging. Then what I'd like to do when I'm making my screencast, including this, I also want to show them the blog that I use in my classroom. It should look familiar because it looks just like the blog I use for our class, but this is the one I use for my English 3 Honors class. You can see I have messages to some of my students. We had a student join the class late, so I had to ask them to please add Tiara to their blogs. Further down is a link, is a post where I give them a video about a link to my sample Voki that I've created and a screencast that they can use, that they can view about using the different Jing tools, Voki tools using Jing. Then from here I can link to actually some student blogs. So the first blog that I can show them is from one of my students named Gabby. This is actually her homework for tonight. You can see today's date on it. I'm very proud that she already has it up. She's posting on Huckleberry Finn. This is her first blog, which chapter she's blogging on. The theme that she's been assigned, social responsibility. You can see her definition of social responsibility and kind of some of her thoughts and insights about it. She goes through the chapters, goes through the characters, and really spends some time getting her thoughts out through her blog. You can see that previously we used these back in November to blog about the Scarlet Letter. Another one, just to show you this others that I'm going to share, I also have, this is Paul's blog, and you can see that he is also blogging about Huckleberry Finn, the social responsibility, and his thoughts and ideas. So I have some sample blogs that I can share with my colleagues to show them how I'm using blogging in the classroom. Finally, I have an introduction to Pinterest and an introduction to RDIO that I want to make screencasts about how they can use it. I have not made these videos or PowerPoints or anything for that yet, but I do have a sample Pinterest board that I can show with them. So I made a sample Pinterest board of Daisy Buchanan for The Great Gatsby, and I showed the board to showcase the character of Daisy Buchanan from F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel The Great Gatsby. So what students can do is create a board for a character and show how they understand the novel and the depth of the character through the pins that they choose. So for instance, while they can have simple things like outfits that their character might wear, they might also have other things. So I chose this rotten piece of fruit, so a rotten peach for what Daisy looks like on the inside. A quote from the novel that relates back to the green light, and just other things that remind me of the character. The color white, for those of you who are familiar with the novel, know that white is a pivotal part of Daisy's character. So I still have a lot of work to do. I would really love any feedback on what you think, especially on how to use the multimodal tools for those of you who are teaching. What do you think about it? Do you think that it's easy for that it'll be, maybe not easy, but do you think it would be something that teachers would be interested in learning more about? And some feedback on what my actual first PowerPoint looks like with multimodality, because I know it needs a lot of work, especially because I haven't yet applied all the things that we learned from our class into the design elements there.